All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got some more players to take a look at here in this upcoming draft. Again, we're on the offensive side of the ball. We're just doing a pass through, talking about guys that I missed initially that I think are worth spending at least a few minutes on. This first guy, especially, this guy's actually been pretty well elevated on the big boards. On the aggregate, he's currently a fifth round pick and a relatively early fifth round pick. So Carson Vinson is someone that's really kind of climbed the ladder a little bit over the last couple of months. So Carson Vinson, Alabama A&M, 23 years old, definitely worth a few minutes. Really, really tall. Right off the bat, you're like, 6'7" plus. He's over 6'7". That can be difficult sometimes. Good weight, though. Good arm length to play tackle, 34 and a half inches. Hands are pretty big, decently big. Tested pretty well, not necessarily fast, but he's got decent explosiveness. 7.513 cone for an offensive lineman is really, really good. Couple of the big boards, I think ESPN has him in the fourth round. So this is a legitimate prospect that you could take with plans to have him be a starter down the line. He's had two pretty good years now in college. 10 pressures allowed last year. Year before that, it was 15. So he's been playing pretty well, not great, but he's done enough to stand out at an Alabama A&M program that doesn't necessarily put out a lot of great players. He's athletic enough to fit in a zone scheme, and I think that is something worth some degree of attention, because we have plenty of offensive linemen out there that you quickly lose interest in because they're just not athletic. This guy's athletic enough to do zone-based scheme stuff. He's got good hands. His punches can stall out rusher momentum really well. He's a skilled hand user, able to really just get his hands into a rusher and stall out his momentum. His pass slides are sound and balanced, so I think he's going to be good keeping up with speed. So that gives you a relatively well-rounded skill set for a tackle, so you can see why this guy's a credible prospect. I do think that sometimes he is in such a hurry to not give up the outside corner against a speed rusher that he will give up his inside shoulder, so he oversets. He's going to have to add some weight. I don't think 314 is going to quite cut it, especially with how tall he is. His sustain is not very strong either. He tends to get onto a guy and his latch just isn't strong enough to stay firm. So Carson Vinson is definitely somebody that's going to have to make some improvements. But you can see the foundation of an NFL player here. Valuable elements on the table here because he is a good athlete. But I would say fifth round's about right. I would say fifth round's about right. I can't go fourth round like ESPN. Not there yet. I think there's a lot he needs to work on, but pretty good for a small school guy. I liked Vinson quite a bit. I think that he is a credible player that you could take and say he's going to be the starter at some point. Maybe he can't be your star offensive lineman, but he can be competent. Okay, next guy, another offensive lineman. This is Tyler Cooper of Minnesota. Has elevated himself to the kind of middle seventh round on the aggregate. 6'6", 302 pounds, so definitely a little bit lean. This is a guard in all likelihood. I think that he will end up playing left guard in the NFL if I had to guess. Two pretty decent years of production at Minnesota. I don't think he played the whole year in 2023, but 2024 allowed 10 total pressures across the season, so pretty good. Pretty decent production. He's good in space. He's capable of moving in space, capable of throwing blocks on moving targets. So you put him in a situation where he's got to go up to the next level or hit targets on the outside. It's pretty good. He understands how to get low to overcome his height. So even though he's 6'6", I think he understands how to win leverage, which is very important. So I like that. He's a cerebral offensive lineman as well. He knows how to guard against twists and stunts, knows who he's trying to pick up in certain situations. He's good at getting movement in the run game with his leg drive, pretty good at clearing out a lot of space, good at clearing out run lanes, and his pass rush mirror is solid. I think that you are, of course, going to play him on the inside, which is going to mitigate his pass rush mirror a little bit, but you don't want it to be the big focal point of him as a player necessarily. Did not play a lot of games in college because of injuries. This is another Anthony Bradford situation. Anthony Bradford didn't play a lot in college, and you can see that affecting his game negatively in the pros. Cooper has a similar number of starts in college to Anthony Bradford, so you are talking about getting a very raw prospect. His height is still a disadvantage. Being 6'6" is not great, especially when you're on the inside. He struggles to stay healthy, like I just said, so you have to be worried about injuries. And he is a decent athlete, but I don't think he's a very good athlete, so I don't think he'll be great in zone. It's another Oluwatimi situation, kind of, where he can play in space because he's skilled, but he doesn't necessarily have the athletic prowess to be great. And I do suspect that you're better off putting him in a gap-based scheme. So at the end of the day, Tyler Cooper, some interesting things to say about him, not a stellar prospect at all. The low-level athletic skills hurt this one. I still kind of like him, though. I think a 6th-round pick would be okay. There's some flexibility. I think you could do worse with a 6th-round pick than a guy like a Tyler Cooper, personally. Okay, one more guy for this video. This is our last offensive prospect of this cycle, and it's another guy the Seahawks met with, which is why I'm looking at him. Bryce Cabeldue. I believe we used a top 30 on him, so Kansas Jayhawk couldn't find his age. Another guy who didn't get invited to the combine. 6'4", 306 pounds, so small, a little bit on the smaller side. Aggregate puts him just outside the drafted player list, going by pure big board numbers. Had a nice little 2024 80 PFF grade, 8 total pressures allowed. 2023, he you can see the improvement, right? 19 pressures allowed in 2023, 8 allowed in 2024. So he improved a lot. Got a lot of force and pop in his hands, hits with great power and great force. Experience at both tackle spots. He played left and right over at Kansas, so he is bringing those reps to the table here. He generates good push in the run game. He does have that ability to really clear out space. He played a lot of games in college, so whatever he is, he's going to be fairly close to it now, and he's relatively ready to go, I think, because of all that experience. He's got a pretty good pass rush mirror as well, and he does have some ability in space. I'm not trying to overhype anything, but I do think he has some ability to play in space. He does play standing straight up. I know he's not super tall. 6'4" is not that bad, but it is easy to get under his pads. So that's something that he needs to work on. He's got short arms. I know I don't have an official arm measurement here, but his arms are short for a tackle. He's probably going to slide inside at the NFL level and play guard because of that. He exposes his chest too much, partially because his arms are so short. And he's not going to be good enough in his zone scheme. If you have a lot of movement, a lot of climbing to the next level, you're not going to be able to get this guy in a position to really succeed. So once you strip away his ability to play tackle, which I don't think will fly in the NFL, and you realize how limited he is with mobility, you're left with a very forgettable guard prospect. So I went with 7th-round pick. I just can't get that excited here. I know we met with him, but I don't see that much here that I like. I think 7th-round pick is about the highest I can go. Okay, so that'll do it for this video, and that'll do it for the offensive prospects. Tomorrow, we're going to look at a few defensive guys, and that'll be that. And then we'll be going into the 2025 NFL draft, basically. It'll be the week of. Okay, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everyone have a good day. Let me know what you think, and see y'all soon.